All gas, no break. Welcome to the show. Just Chris and Mo at the moment. Justin is currently running from the grind, as he usually does around this time. I guess he thought that he was allowed to take a bye week too. But we're still here. We're still working. Um, as promised, we are back because we have a victory podcast to bring to the people as the Jets, for the first time in franchise history, defeat the Philadelphia Eagles. They are now 1-12 all time against the Eagles. In one of the gutsiest wins you'll ever see from the New York Jets. They beat them 2014. They were down. There was no Sauce Gardner, which we found out about 24 hours before the game that we were going to be without Sauce as well as DJ Reed. So there was no Sauce and no DJ, and yet the Jets were, and obviously no AVT, and yet the Jets were able to come out and they dug themselves into a 14-3 hole, and I kind of thought the game might have been over at that point. But to their credit, they did not falter. They did not fold, and they were able to scratch and claw their way back into the game on the backs of their defense, and they were able to pull out the improbable victory. Mo, how you doing? How you feeling?
Halftime adjustments were definitely made.
Adjustments absolutely were made. Definitely, and on both sides of the ball, I feel, but especially on defense, you could tell that the adjustments were definitely made. The Jets defense pitched a shutout from pretty much, I forget when exactly they scored their second touchdown, but it was pretty early in the second quarter. So pretty much for like the last 40 minutes of the game, the Jets defense pitched a shutout. You had, and it's funny. I saw someone tweet like that the Jets defense isn't that good because they're too turnover dependent.
Yeah.
That same person was probably saying last year that the Jets defense wasn't that good because they didn't create enough turnovers. So like, which one is it? Because last year, the knocks on the defense were that they're too turnover, not enough turnovers, and that they were feasting on a bunch of backup quarterbacks. Well, now they're making MVP Hall of Fame caliber quarterbacks turn the ball over,
And like it's almost like they make him like not nervous, but just uncomfortable.
yeah, they make them uncomfortable, and they throw off their timing. Like like one of Jalen Hurts' picks was caused by I think it was Jermaine Johnson got a hand on his arm and kind of like disrupted his throw.
Yeah,
And then that kind of turned into a wounded duck wobbler that landed right into the hands of Bryce Hall, who shout outs to Bryce Hall.
Another one with Jermaine Johnson where Quentin Williams actually picked it off.
That's right. Yeah, Jermaine Johnson. Yeah, so Jermaine Johnson blew up the. So I guess like what happened was Jermaine Johnson, like that was an incredible play by Jermaine, that Quentin Williams interception, because Jermaine went from pass rushing to he sees that Jalen Hurts is releasing the ball like over the middle down to the tight end. So he goes from like pass rushing to absolutely obliterating the tight end, and then the ball just kind of landed into Quentin Williams' hands. And it's always fun when it's always fun to see a defensive tackle get an interception.
Right. I think those are our two best edge rushers right now, Bryce Huff and Jermaine Johnson.
I think they're the best edge rushing duo perhaps in the whole league.
It's possible because and I feel like there are similarities between Bryce Huff and Hassan Reddick, and they seem like of the same stature, and they bend just exactly the same. Like they just have a motor where they just keep going around the outside and just attacking. Like their QB hits are so high where it's like eventually you're gonna hit him. And if I'm not mistaken, he had like a sack or two.
Huff, yeah, he definitely had at least one or two, and I know Reddick also had at least one sack. Yeah, I mean that's pretty interesting comparison. I think it's crazy like watching Bryce Huff now that he's like playing like almost every down or at least a much higher percentage of snaps. Which shout outs to the coaching staff for making that adjustment because it would have been criminal if you just kept putting him out there only on third downs.
He's like the secret weapon, honestly.
So credit to them for recognizing what kind of talent they had with Bryce Huff. And it's crazy. Like every Jet game you watch, it's like every play, like on defense, when he's out there, you can see him like he has burst on like every play, and like he doesn't take plays off at all. And like he's like at the bare minimum, he's creating pressure or like at least giving the old lineman a hard time on every play. Like he very rarely gets like beat or neutralized. He's always like causing some sort of disruption.
Yeah, because his motor is insane. Like he might be the most underrated pass rusher in the NFL.
He is.
Yeah,
the Jets need to.
He was like a gold mine find from Joe Douglas, and you got to give that credit to Joe Douglas at least because he was probably getting 2021 undrafted 2021.
Yeah, he was a 2021 UDFA, and yeah, credit to Joe Douglas for finding a diamond in the rough with Bryce Huff. No rhyme intended. Now, Joe, go out and pay the man. Don't waste time. Don't fool around. Don't get cute. I don't care how many edge rushers you drafted or signed over these past 2 years. He's clearly your best one, and he should be paid as such. Send a message to your organization that it doesn't matter if you're a first round pick or undrafted. You can come here if you play your ass off and you play well, you will be rewarded. So I think that's a pretty easy one. I think we gotta extend Mekhi Becton as well. I would say like right now those are like the two players that are like pending free agents that like you got to do everything you can to lock up.
Right. While you can, because I mean Mekhi Becton, he has been like dominating, but he's been good enough to where he's actually staying healthy and he's making plays.
Yeah, he's showing
it's like giving up. He's not a turnstile. And
yeah, he's showing that he can be he's showing the potential to be a franchise left tackle if he can stay on the field. Because I mean, did you see that one play where he like absolutely like bullied that D lineman and like the guy like slipped and fell and he just stood there and like pointed and laughed at him until he got up and then just started blocking him again. Yeah, it seems like
it seems like he's slowly getting back to his rookie form, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. I guess it's like a process because he hasn't played in like 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, if you would have watched that game on Sunday and seen Mekhi Becton out there, and like without the prior knowledge that you had, if someone would have told you like say that was like that was like the first football game you've watched in a couple of years, and someone said, "Oh, this is like the first football game this guy," or like, "Oh, this guy is like just getting back into it, like he hasn't played the previous 2 years," like I wouldn't believe it because he doesn't look the part of someone who's missed the last 2 years. He looks almost like at this point he looks like he hasn't really missed a beat.
Right.
He gets the only thing I don't think he had any. I don't know if he had any false start penalties. That's like the only thing he would like need to clean up, in my opinion. But other than that, I mean, he's been fantastic, especially with AVT going down. I was a little worried that with like kind of having to reshuffle the O line, that it was gonna like kill.
We kind of had to because of Wes Schweitzer coming in after Joe Tippmann went down with a thigh.
Yeah. Joe Tippmann went down. Garrett Wilson was clearly playing hurt that whole game too. For the love of God, Woody Johnson, John Mara, MetLife Stadium people, whoever the fuck's in charge over there. natural grass. Enough with this goddamn turf. I'm sick. I'm sick of watching. I'm sick of every week. You know, Aaron Rodgers fucking
was caused by the turf too, and
yeah,
Garrett.
yeah. Those are three key players that were caused by turf. I mean, AVT's injury might have also been caused by Denver's turf, and you know that situation. It's a league wide problem. MetLife is one of the worst surfaces in the league, but it's a league wide problem. There's no reason with the money that league brings in. It's like the most, aside from FIFA, it's the richest.
Fix.
Yeah, aside from FIFA, it's like the richest like sports league in the world, I would say. And even as evil and corrupt an organization as FIFA is, they still at least provide like good playing surfaces for their players.
Yeah, they do.
It's time for the NFL. It's time for the NFL to do the same. Fucking, I'll go there with a shovel my goddamn self, and I'll do it.
Shit. If they pay me, I'll do every stadium and roll out the crap.
I'll do MetLife for free. Then if they want to pay me, I'll do the rest.
I'll roll out the whole layers of grass.
100%. Yeah, but I mean, it was a very gutsy win, and Zach Wilson looked pretty. Zach Wilson has made a significant leap from being an unplayable quarterback to now like a serviceable backup. And you see Aaron Rodgers come out. Before the game, and he's walking around on the field. He's making some throws, and he's on the sideline, and he's got a headset.
That's what's helping. I think that's what's helping, and it's kind of like boosting Zach's confidence a little bit.
I think it's boosting. I think it's a boost for the whole team, not just Zach. I mean, he's definitely helping him being in his ear is definitely helping Zach Wilson. I mean, Zach Wilson, his cadences are like the same exact as Rodgers now. His like pre-snap cadences are just like Aaron's. And that throw he made to Randall Cobb on the 2-point conversion after the Breece Hall touchdown, after the Adams interception, that was like an Aaron-esque throw. That was like textbook Aaron Rodgers.
It was.
And credit to Randall Cobb for hanging in tough and hanging on to the ball.
I even think that like shovel pass to Breece Hall was like Aaron Rodgers' shovel pass, or even like the idea of having that in mind, in the presence of mind.
Yeah, Rodgers probably did tell him like, "Hey,
that was a big play."
Oh yeah, that play was, that play was huge. And the Jets did all this. They won this game in spite of also playing against the refs. I mean,
On top of that,
the first touchdown
was almost like the Chiefs game.
Yeah, it was almost worse. I mean, that first touchdown should not have counted. I don't know what they saw to say there was sufficient evidence that Jalen Hurts was able to cross the plane. Even if a part of his body didn't go down, like his forward progress was clearly stopped. Like the whistle blew before he fucking went, before he went down. And for them to review that and come out and then say that's a touchdown was just absolutely disgraceful. So that was an awful call. I thought the blindside block call on Alan Lazard was horrible too, especially when someone on the Lions made that same block. I think Josh Reynolds made a block that led to Amon-Ra St. Brown touchdown, and it was basically the same play, the same block, and everyone, the NFL and everyone was like, like going bananas over like how great a play that was and how great a block it was. But like Alan Lazard does the same thing, and it's like a 15-yard penalty. He's probably gonna get fined and shit for it too. Like, what's the difference aside from like we're the fucking Jets?
Like they really just pick and choose what the fuck they want to call a penalty or not.
Yeah,
I can guarantee you how many times there was holding in a game, and
I mean, it happens on every play.
50% of it. Yeah, exactly. Every play.
Yeah. Holding happens on every play, but yeah, it seems like it did seem very much like the refs in that game had the Eagles money line or had the Eagles -6.5, and they were doing everything they could to cash their bets, but it didn't matter. And I mean, Jeff Ulbrich was drawing up a lot of Jeff Ulbrich was drawing up like a lot of exotic packages and exotic blitzes, like the Tony Adams interception. Tony Adams basically said like, "Oh yeah, I didn't do anything really on that play." Like basically they said like, "Just stay in this spot and like Jalen Hurts is going to throw the ball right to you," and then that's exactly what happened.
That's insane.
Yeah, Ulbrich very well may be getting poached.
I think he knows this defense so well. He's brought it down to a science. Where like Quincy Williams he might be the most improved linebacker I've seen ever.
Yeah, and it's crazy how much he improved our whole linebacking core
player on the team.
Because like we went into this, like going into the season, we all like as far as the defense went, like we all felt like safeties and linebackers were going to be like the weak points. But I mean the linebackers have improved, and I mean even the safeties are kind of better too. Like Jordan Whitehead, I'd say, is having a much better year this year than he did last year.
I mean, he's going for like the hard hits all the time, but I mean, and instead of just like wrapping them up, he'd rather go for the hard hit. But I can't knock him for that because
he's making the tackles. It's not like he's really giving up anything.
He's making plays. So he's definitely like adjusted to the defense because what is this? His second year in the defense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. I won't knock him for that first year. So
and like the way his first year went was also like extremely overblown. Like it wasn't as bad as
it wasn't because
it wasn't as bad as like people said.
Interceptions and stuff.
Right.
He's the best safety we have.
Easy. Yeah, he definitely is. And I mean Tony Adams had a few bad before like the interception that he had that basically sealed the game for us, obviously. Tony Adams wasn't looking great at safety. He was kind of looking like a weak kind of like a weak point in that defense, but even him, he was able to like step up and make a play when everyone needed it the most. It goes to show like how much of a team the Jets are, like, and like Bryce, and for Bryce Hall, like to go from like, and I think like Bryce Hall and Jeff Ulbrich definitely have like a cool connection because it's like Ulbrich because I think Ulbrich kind of had the same thing happen to him when he was in the league where like he played and then like he was a starter and then got replaced and he was kind of able to relate to him in that way and keep him motivated and keep him ready to play like if and when that opportunity did come. And I thought Michael Carter too also held his own on the outside.
He did, yeah. He was lined up on the outside. That was crazy.
Yeah, because I mean, I think Salah said something along the lines of like, and how about Craig James? Dude just came off the streets, and
I know,
dude. They were like, "Yo, you're off the street."
I was like, "Who the hell is this guy?" And then there was another one,
and he was like one of the highest graded corners by PFF for the whole week.
Was he really?
I think so, yeah. And
I think they brought him in like a week ago, or maybe a week.
Yeah, he was on the practice squad,
like the 12th.
Yeah, so so he was brought in on like Thursday, so he had like 1 day of practice.
Yeah,
that.
He was doing good.
File all the paperwork in time for him to like be able to practice, and they were just like, "Hey, like we know he just like picked you off the street, but like, do you think you could like cover AJ Brown and Devontae Smith?" And he was just like, "Yeah, sure, no problem."
He was like the Aki guy. Sure.
Yeah, you simply
The,
love to see it.
that's wild because like look at how deep our corner room is now. Yeah, even Brandon Eccles was out, and I was
Yeah,
like,
Eccles was out too.
and he was a starter like his rookie year, and he was good.
Yeah, like we were kind of like there was a time where, there was a time where there was a conversation that like getting
Bryce,
Sauce Gardner was like more of a luxury pick.
yeah, and Bryce Hall and Brandon Eccles, people were cool with like Jets fans were cool with moving forward, them being our starting cornerbacks.
Yeah, and the one knock on Bryce Hall was that like according to DJ Bieniemy back when he covered the Jets, I think he said that one time like a anonymous coach on another team like basically told him like, yeah, we were just gonna we just threw it towards Bryce Hall every time because we knew that he's like a decent corner, but we knew that the worst thing that would happen was that he was gonna knock down the pass. That he wasn't really like a threat to like get an interception. But now this is 2 weeks in a row where Bryce Hall has made either
He's hit a scoop and score, and then an interception.
Score and then the pick. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So love to see it for Bryce Hall because I mean he's had quite the roller coaster of a career. I mean, going from presumably would have been a first round pick. Then he had the injury issues in college, which dropped him down to a fifth round pick, which is a significant difference in like your income bracket, getting drafted first round, fifth round, and then being a starter with the Jets and, looking like, okay, like I can still like make it, still be able to like make it happen here to then like being replaced by Sauce to now like having his moment these last 2 weeks where he's been kind of like one of the focal points and like a big part of two victories for the Jets in a row. So kudos to Breece Hall had another monster game too. And I'm not even mad that they scored the touchdown at the end of the game. Because I know the Eagles kind of let Breece score, or at least that's what it looked like. But
I don't give a shit.
And it seems like the Jets did kind of take this game personally, with all the shit talking that they were doing afterwards. Because I think a couple of years ago, like in Salah's rookie year, when the Jets played the Eagles were basically just like laughing at the Jets. Because of like how easy they were to beat and stuff, and that was I think a Gardner Minshew led the Eagles victory.
It was. I remember that. That was December 5th.
Yeah,
I think.
So for them, so then so it seemed like there was a lot of back and forth and a lot of shit talking, and it seemed like a lot of players on that team did. It seemed like they did they took the fact that the franchise had never beaten the Eagles personally, and it seemed like someone was talking some shit or said something that fired him up and made him take it personally. Because I guess apparently, like after Breece scored, he was like yelling at the whole defense of the Eagles, and I guess they were like, "Oh, we fucking let you score," but it doesn't matter because
that shit score. We scored.
Also, I think that like letting them score, I think that from an Eagles standpoint, that was a dumb strategy to let the Jets score a touchdown there. Like I get it, you're trying to get the ball back with as much time as possible,
but they didn't score the whole half.
Yeah, they didn't. They haven't scored the whole half. Like you're not getting anything against the defense. Wouldn't you stop them? I think they still had timeouts at the time.
Yeah,
wouldn't you rather stop them, hold them to a field goal, and then get the ball back with a chance to kick a game-winning field goal rather than having to go all the way down the field and score a touchdown with like a minute left? I mean, we left them a lot of time, but
that Brandon Staley vibes right there.
Yeah. Yeah, and Brandon Staley continues to be a disaster as well. And it looks like Justin Herbert might be a little little O word.
San Diego Superchargers
Charge. Yeah, yeah, I mean, I would say, I know I've come on here a few times and have talked shit on Robert Saleh, but this was like a signature win for him too. Like I feel like after that win on Sunday, it's like, all right, like I can now like confidently say like Robert Saleh is like the right guy to lead this team.
I always thought so. It's just like he has like a plan in place where Jets fans aren't patient enough for it, but everything has improved.
Yeah, everything has gotten better, and I mean, like, listen, before the season started, there were Jets fans who would have said, if even with Rodgers healthy, people would have said, if we could get to the bye week 3-3, like that would be a success.
Yeah.
Now you're 3-3 at the bye week without him. And I think, and going back to like what we were talking about before with Rodgers coming on and like throwing the ball around is like I think that fires up the whole team and not just like Zach Wilson, because they see that, and I think that it creeps into their head like hey, how many this guy might really come back, like how many more games can we scratch and claw and grind out wins, and then we get him back, and we can go on a run for the playoffs.
They did what they had to do, at least for the first 6 weeks, because they had a plethora of teams where you had Buffalo, you had the Cowboys. They didn't get the Cowboys, but the Patriots, that should have been a win. The Chiefs, that should have been a win. And then, because I think we got cheated out of that game easy because of the Swift.
Yeah, we easily got hosed, and granted, Travis and Jason Kelce were present at this game, but Taylor Swift wasn't there, so I really don't know like why the NFL felt the need to rig the game against the Jets.
Denver was dominated, and then the Eagles game, I think we should have scored like 3 more touchdowns.
Yeah, we should have won that. Really, we should have won that like 20-7. Because that first touchdown was some horseshit.
I think 30-14, to be honest. 31-14. The way they were playing, because like we were like what?
Yeah, they probably should have had one more touchdown too, because they should have had a touchdown on that drive where it got basically the drive kind of fell apart after the blindside block.
Where Irvin Charles got the ball. We should have scored a touchdown there. That was the first drive.
Oh yeah.
Was it after?
I think it was. I'm not sure. I think it was after. I don't really remember.
After. I don't know if it was. I don't think it was the opening drive. I think it was the third drive where Irv Charles, they recovered the ball at like the 5. And then we were like right there, and then we end up kicking a field goal. See, that's opportunity missed. They don't capitalize. They the red zone offense sucks.
Yeah, the red zone offense. I don't know if it's I think part of it's bad play calling. Like we were supposed to get more creativity out of Hackett.
I think it is bad play calling because I don't think it's Zach.
Yeah. I mean, Zach has had some misses.
He has. I'm not going to leave him out. But
like last week, Zach had a bad miss where he had Tyler Conklin wide open in the end zone, and it was like looking right at him basically. But yeah, for the most part, I think it is just like bad play calling and just like not. It's like they kind of just. It almost seems like they're just like content, like settling for field goals when they get down there.
I feel like they're slowly adjusting to how Zach plays.
Yeah, there's definitely some of that going on, but also like at this point it's been 6 games.
Yeah, I know it's too slow. That's what I'm saying. Like it, this is a week by week sport.
Right.
You can't
Week to
just
week.
delay shit for the next week or the week after. You have 6 days to figure shit out for that team.
Exactly.
And you have tape on the team. So make it happen. You know what their weak spots are. You know who's gonna play at least day of, because I hope you're studying all the players, not just starting.
Right.
And now you have 2 weeks. And what's our history on bye weeks? We always
Not good.
we lose the bye week and then we lose the game after the bye. And we're playing
Yeah.
the Giants. So I
Yeah,
don't
this
know.
is another must-win game.
No, this is a fuck. You better win game.
It's another you better fucking win, must win, fucking whatever, must win, can't lose, better fucking win.
And I want to be the
You
little brother anymore.
Yeah, you got to take this game personal too, because I mean, remember, the Giants were, remember this is like, it's Jet Life. If it's gonna be Jet Life Stadium, then you have to beat the Giants.
Yes. And last time we met, we beat them.
We did, and the time before that too. So
Yeah.
we got to keep that trend going.
Streak going.
The Giants. I know the Giants almost beat Buffalo, but the Giants have looked like food. There's no reason why our D-line against their O-line should not feast, regardless of who's playing quarterback for the Giants. Actually, fun. This should be a fun kind of question. Do you know when the last time? I mean, this isn't trivia because I don't know either. But do you actually know when the last time the Jets won after a bye week was? Like it didn't happen last year because we lost to that was the New England game after the bye week last year where Zach lost his job.
Yeah, after we got all excited.
Yeah, we didn't win after the bye in 2020. I'm pretty sure we lost that game to the Patriots
that was
too.
The 6-3. That was the 6-3 when we went into the bye, and then we lost to the Patriots.
Yeah, that was last year. 2021, I think after our bye, we also got whooped by the Patriots. Mm-hmm. 2020 we barely won any games at all, so we definitely lost after the bye that year. And I think we lost after the bye in 2019 too.
Well, since we like to change history, we beat the Eagles. Now let's win after a fucking bye.
Yeah, it's definitely
because there is no reason why we should. Their team is not good.
Yeah, it's definitely it's time. It's time to win a game after a bye. Like Robert Saleh said, don't just get drunk and eat nachos this week. Leave that to the experts. Leave that to us. We'll do the drinking and the nacho eating for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to really, attack this week with intent the same way you attack the other weeks with intent. And, and the bye, I mean, I don't want to wait another, because it's weird. Usually like most shitty seasons we have, I'm like, oh, thank God we have a bye now, the Jets can't hurt me this week. This year it's like, man, I don't want to wait another 2 weeks for the Jets to play football again. Like I like watching this team. And apparently so does the rest of the world, because the top three ratings games this year have all been Jets games. The Jets Eagles was the most watched, and then I think Jets Bills and Jets Chiefs were the second and third most watched of the game. So, these hating asses can say what they want, but the fact of the matter is that people tune in when the Jets are playing. And don't try and tell me it's because of the opponent, because if you thought that game was going to be, if you thought that game was going to be like a blowout or no contest, then you probably wouldn't really bother or pay much mind to it.
Yeah, Bill Barnwell could go fuck himself, to be honest with you.
Exactly. But I forget where exactly I was. Where exactly I was going with this. But no, where I was going with this.
What I was gonna say is, who are the Giants playing? Washington.
Yeah, they play the Commies this week, which we'll get to our picks in a little. But I actually do think the Giants. I think that's a winnable game for the Giants. I mean, I guess every game is a winnable game if you are in a position where you're like able to beat Buffalo.
I think the rest of the schedule is winnable. Every game
For us or for the Giants, you mean?
for us.
For us, yeah. I mean, this was the gauntlet part of the schedule, and we got through it 3-3. Which, I mean, to lose Zach Wilson and to be 3-3 at this point, when we were 1-3 a couple of weeks ago, and it looked like things were gonna spiral out of control if we didn't beat Denver. And then people were saying, like, going into this Eagles game, people were saying that the Jets were playing with house money. I never really bought into that notion that this was a house money game for the Jets. I still felt like this was a game that the Jets needed to have, or at least show up and like be competitive in. It's not just like, oh, like who cares if you lose this game, like, because there's a huge difference between 3-3 and 2-4. 2-4, you're not completely dead yet, but 3-3, you're really like, it changes the whole outlook of the season. It almost makes up for the shitty loss to the shitty Patriots by beating a team you weren't really supposed to be beating for. I mean, I don't know if anything will really make up for for losing to the Patriots unless we beat them week 18 to get into the playoffs, which
What I was going to get to, and that's probably going to be the game where we have to win to get into the playoffs.
That's probably what this season, it's looking like that's probably what this season's going to come down to is having to is a win or go home type of game in week 18. And we're back at the point where like every game that every other game like matters for us too. Like normally a Cowboys Chargers Monday night game, like I really wouldn't give a shit, but like I was like, and like I kind of like the Chargers better than the Cowboys as like an entity, but I was still rooting for the Cowboys just because like if the Chargers would have won, they would have been ahead of us, and I think enough teams are ahead of us already. I don't want any more teams going ahead of us. So now it's like root for NFC teams against the AFC teams all the time, and stuff like that. Like I think like winning that game yesterday or on Sunday really changes the whole outlook of the season, where there's like a legitimate pathway to competing for a playoff spot and making the playoffs with Zach Wilson. And who knows if Aaron Rodgers continues to defy the odds of science and modern medicine, and who knows when he can come back. And and really like you're at a point where now we're like like anything is possible. Kevin Garnett voice.
Yeah, for real. And like it seems to me like he really wants to like prove that, or he can be the first person to like come back that quickly. But
yeah,
I was watching a YouTube video earlier about it was a surgeon, and he works with like he works with NFL players, and he does like these type of surgeries. He wasn't directly working with Aaron Rodgers, but he's saying like there is like maybe a 5%, 4 to 5% chance that he could like re-tear his Achilles if he comes back too fast. And he's doing like this straight, I forget the name of it, like the straight bridge surgery, and then he's getting like stem cells and shit like that. And I don't know if ayahuasca plays into this shit, because he might have to smoke that shit before he starts playing.
Maybe horse tranquilizers.
But I mean, if he really does come back like in December, that's like shit. So many people are gonna be on the same regimen, and like he's moving, and he just tore it 30 days ago.
Yeah, he's like not even like he's wearing like sneakers, like he's not even in a walking boot, and he's walking around, he's making throws and shit.
Like he's moving his he's moving his feet. Like, it's insane. Like, I tore my Achilles. I ruptured it, and
Yeah, I
I could
tore mine too.
3 months.
Yeah, I tore my Achilles. I tore my Achilles in 2012. I got surgery on my. I got reconstructive foot surgery, and part of the surgery was that they did something with my Achilles to like lengthen the Achilles tendon. But in order to do that, they had to weaken the Achilles tendon. Long story short, I was a dumbass, and I was riding around on this scooter for the 3-month period or whatever it was that I wasn't able to put any weight on my foot. Long story short, I was a dumbass, didn't have my foot in the boot. It was like I just had a sock on and I didn't have the boot on, and I kind of fell and kind of accidentally put some weight on my foot, and I snapped my Achilles.
Yeah.
That was brutal because it was like a week before I was about to start walking, and then I couldn't walk it like set me back like another like 6 weeks or 2 months or so, like where I couldn't walk again.
So
Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles like a month ago, and he's like throwing footballs on a football field.
Which is all right. Here's my question: did he really tear his Achilles, or was it like something?
A conspiracy to keep the first round pick.
Yeah, I mean, like it was 9/11 and a jet went down.
There's that, and there's the whole conspiracy. There's the whole conspiracy that like basically he like went down or got hurt on purpose so that he wouldn't play 65% of the snaps, and the Jets would be able to keep.
And I was thinking about that too, and I was like, okay, was this part of it? Maybe this is part of the whole plan, because there's a lot of shit in the NFL right now that's making me question shit, like how DJ Reed just flew past Patrick Mahomes and didn't hit him.
Yeah. Well, there is the writers' strike. The writers' strike just ended, I think, but the writers were on strike. So if the shit is scripted, it showed with how lazy the scripting was.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like, just have Aaron Rodgers tear his Achilles 4 plays in the season and just like crush everyone's hopes and dreams.
Hey, if we keep our first round pick and Zach plays good, I don't mind it.
To answer your question, though, I do think that Aaron Rodgers actually did tear his Achilles. You could kind of see in the replay, you could see something in his calf pop.
Yeah. No,
and it was just like and it looked just like how it looked when Kevin Durant had his calf pop when he actually tore his Achilles in the NBA Finals back in 2019. So I do think his Achilles legitimately got torn. And I don't know what to make of all this. I don't know what to make of this whole comeback or what's going to happen.
I don't think he's coming back this season.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I feel inclined to say like, oh yeah, he's not going to come back, and then you see him like on the field like in sneakers, and you see him throwing, and it's like, shit, he really might come back. I've heard some places like I read somewhere like week 12 is a possibility. I don't think it's going to happen that soon.
Week 13,
yeah, I saw somewhere else like possibly week 15 or 16. I would say if Zach Wilson can get us through that Browns game, and if we could be 9-7 or 8-8, and then if Aaron Rodgers could come back for the Patriots game to get us into the playoffs, then I could see it. I could see it happening. I could see it happening then. I don't really think he would come any earlier than that personally, but I'll be the first to admit I really don't know anything about I don't know anything about this surgery. I think Cam Akers had the same surgery and he came back pretty quickly too, but he also looked like shit. Well, Cam Akers is just a shitty player, so he's always kind of looked like shit. But I feel like he especially went to shit, after coming back from it. But obviously, hard to compare Cam Akers and Aaron Rodgers for anything other than having the same surgery. potentially, if it even was the same surgery. But I think I heard somewhere that it was like the same surgery that Cam Akers had, or a similar one.
But yeah, see, he's a running back, and Aaron Rodgers not.
Yeah, he's a running back and a scrub, and Aaron Rodgers is a quarterback and will be a first ballot Hall of Famer when whenever he decides to hang up the cleats. So going into the bye, go ahead.
They also is. Do you think AVT will have the same surgery?
I really don't know. I would lean towards probably not, just because like he's a bigger dude and stuff, and I think
I feel like just size matters a lot.
Yeah, it definitely does in that scenario, especially because it's your Achilles, which is like like the heel of your foot and stuff, and the weight that you put on your foot definitely matters. Like those are things I've kind of dealt with in my life, as far as like putting weight on my feet and weighing more than maybe I should kind of has me in more pain than maybe I would be if I say weighed, I don't know, 20 or 30 pounds less than I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'd say that AVT, I don't know what's going to happen with him, but I would say that I don't think he would get the same surgery that Aaron Rodgers would. And even if he did get the same surgery, I don't think there would be like any chance he would come back, even if we made it to even if we made it to the Super Bowl. I don't think AVT would be back.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. But it's crazy how it was the same week, I'm pretty sure, and the same injury at the same time.
Yeah,
and
so
you know what it is? I think they should just keep him at right guard, because he plays right guard better than right tackle, and he's a decent right tackle, but
he's a pretty good right tackle. He's an all-pro guard.
Yeah,
he did have.
He gets injured.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you think he got hurt because he was playing a different position, or do you think he got hurt because of the turf, or do you think it was just like bad luck, or maybe a little bit of all?
I think it's bad luck, because that's something you can't really control.
Because last year when AVT got hurt in Denver, he was playing guard, right?
No, he was playing tackle.
He's playing tackle then too. Oh yeah, that's right. We had to move him out because we just can never have stability on our offensive line. We can never have good injury luck.
And it was a torn bicep, so that's that you can't really control something like that. So I think it's just unlucky.
Yeah, I think it's unlucky. I mean, granted, we had our best offensive line combination with AVT at right tackle, and that unit, the way it was getting a lot of continuity. You could tell the line was gelling, and that they were going somewhere. Like Zach actually had time to throw and find open receivers and stuff. Like things were starting to click. I think that when AVT comes back next year, the plan probably would be to play right guard. I would say, especially coming off an injury like that, they probably want to ease him back into playing, and it's probably easier to play guard and tackle.
They bring in a right tackle.
You gotta pay McConnell back.
They work out La'el Collins. I don't know what happened with him, and he also worked with the Giants. Yeah,
he did work out with the Giants and was signed, and still remains unsigned. I don't know why they wouldn't have signed him. I don't know why either. I don't know why either team didn't sign him, because I mean the Jets clearly could use his services with the injuries that they had, and then the Giants. I mean they had to put out Justin Pugh off the fucking streets basically. And then he had to switch over to tackle, because then their tackle got hurt, and they have they have nobody on their line. So I don't know why neither of those. I mean, the Giants, I guess maybe they could just be like, all right, we're tanking, we don't want anyone that could potentially help us win any games. Obviously they won't say that out loud, but maybe that is a sensible reason why they wouldn't assign them. But for the Jets, you're right in the thick of things. You're trying to you're trying to make the playoffs this year and end this stupid playoff drought. So I don't know if there was something they saw that they didn't like, or if they didn't like his attitude or what. I mean, I never heard of La'el Collins having like issues as far as like attitude or anything like that goes. So yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but they have a bye now and they have time. The trade deadline's coming up. Like they have time to find ways to improve this roster, and I think they really need to look into those possibilities. Now, I'm not saying go out and trade for Devontae Adams right now. Although if you do, like, I wouldn't be upset if you did that. But like the Raiders could be looking to like unload like a Hunter Renfrow. I think like Carl Lawson and like a late round pick for Hunter Renfrow could make a lot of sense for the Jets.
You want to get rid of Carl Lawson?
Yes, I do want to get rid of Carl Lawson. The fuck's he doing?
I mean, like, all right, let's say injuries happen.
Yeah, I guess you always got to prepare for those. I still would, because even when he was out there, he brought you next to nothing. I would just, if someone gets hurt, then give Will McDonald those reps. Carl Lawson, as far as I'm concerned, is useless.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'd rather keep him, but I don't think you need to give up Carl Lawson to get Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah, what do you think? Like a fourth round pick or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a fourth round pick would be fine too, and I'd be fine with
Hardman, because they're not even using him.
Yeah, and it seems like Hardman could be on his way out. I'm almost surprised he hasn't been traded yet. And the Jets need to get like a real wide receiver too, and because after Garrett Wilson, it gets really thin at wide receiver.
Yeah, and Corey Davis retiring didn't help.
Yeah, Corey Davis retiring definitely threw things off. I don't think the Jets were prepared for that. But yeah, Corey Davis retiring during training camp definitely threw like a wrench in things. But which that whole thing, I mean, they should hit him up and see, like, because like it seemed like when he retired, it was kind of like we're leaving the door open for Corey Davis to come back, and he's always welcome back if he decides to come back. It didn't seem like oh, I'm retiring forever, definitely. It seemed more like, yeah, I'm stepping away indefinitely, and we'll see what happens. So I would kick the tires on Corey Davis and see where he's at, if he's ready to come back and play football. Other than that, I think they need to, if you're looking at in-house solutions, I would say now with the bye week would be a good time to try to incorporate Jason Brownlee into the offense. Shout outs to him. He's got the signature right there. I would say now might be a good time to try to incorporate Brownlee into the offense, though, because they really need like another like legitimate weapon at wide receiver. Like Lazard's a nice player and he makes some nice catches, and I like him in the blocking game a lot too. He had, aside from he had that blindside block which shouldn't have counted as a penalty. It was really just a good block, and that was a good block. He had a really good block on a play with a Dalvin Cook running play where he like motioned from out wide into the backfield as a fullback and then like cleared a path for Dalvin Cook to make possibly his best run of the whole season.
Right.
So, but they need like a legitimate wide receiver. Like Hardman is clearly not it. And, and it's a good problem to have because Xavier Gibson basically has outplayed him and has basically earned all the gadget plays and the role that Hardman was supposed to play. You basically Gibson's able to do all of that better. So I don't really have any qualms with like the Hardman, the whole Mecole Hardman experiment. I think it was a 1 year, $4 million deal. You cut your losses and you move on. But clearly there's no real interest in playing him, and I don't know if there really should be because he's not like a legitimate wide receiver. Jason Brownlee, I feel like could be like a legitimate wide receiver. And that crazy circus catch that he made in training camp was a pass from Zach Wilson. So I think they do have a little bit of chemistry there too. And I think you should explore bringing in Brownlee. It's understandable maybe, leading up to the Eagles, it's like that's a tough opponent, a tough team. And, maybe you don't want to throw him into the fire like that week. But now you got to buy. The Giants cornerbacks are absolute food. I'd say now is the time to try to get Brownlee in and see what he can do. But yeah, other than that, I think you need to be aggressive on the trade market to an extent. If you could get a Hunter Renfrow in here, by all means, do that. That would give you another serviceable threat at wide receiver. But they definitely need someone because you saw
Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, 1 and 2.
Yeah, or just get Devontae. I feel like Devontae is more of a next year thing. But also, like, fuck it. If you could get him now, just get him now, I guess. You have a first-round pick that you weren't expecting to have, so maybe just get Devontae Adams with that first-round pick you weren't expecting to have. Although, I guess they need to wait for that all to be official before they're able to actually make any trades. And I think that might like hinder them a little bit at this trade deadline because, like, I don't think they can actually trade their first round pick for somebody until they know they're going to have it. So like they need to the season needs to play out and Aaron Rodgers needs to actually not play.
Sure, they're going to have it because I don't think he's playing.
Yeah, I mean, even if he does, he's not going to reach 65% of the snaps. If he's coming back week 12, 15 or whatever, he's not reach that 65%.
Here's Mo's prediction. Aaron Rodgers comes back week 17
against the Browns.
And then kills the Patriots to get us into the playoffs.
I could see it. I could see. I could see. I mean, I could see. I could see like the Browns being Zach Wilson's last game, just because they may not want to bring Rodgers back on a short week,
right?
And they may, but they may use that because that Browns game is a Thursday night game, so they may use that that long week as an opportunity to get him back if they're playing for a playoff spot, which at this point I expect them to be playing for a playoff spot, and I don't think that's like an unreasonable. I don't think that's an unreasonable thing to say or an unreasonable thing to ask for. I really don't.
Yep. All right. So Justin, when I called him, he said, "Wait till next week to make my way too early predictions." I kind of want to make them right now. And then he can do his next week since we won't really have like much content to talk about except for like playing the Giants.
True. Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is in the chat, I'm gonna add. I have a picture of it.
Or are you able to share your screen, or can I only share mine?
Well, what can I send on here? Can I send anything?
I'm not sure if you can send pictures in this chat.
Yeah, I can't. All right. Well, that changes everything.
Do you have a what you could do is DM it to me on Twitter, and then I could share my screen.
All right, I could do that.
Yeah, send it to the All Gas Twitter account.
The All Gas one? Okay.
Yeah, the same one I sent the link to.
You got it. All right.
Yeah, so we're doing Mo's way too early predictions. All right. We got this way too early prediction board here. Let's have a look. I'm going to give me 1 second here while I get this situated. I have to pull this from one tab to the other. So bear with me here. Okay, what the fuck? Let me save this image. Okay.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick.
Yeah, do that. I will fill some. I'll fill some dead air, or I'll try to. But yeah, okay. I think I got it now. All right. So you see it, the board of way too early playoff brackets. Dan, did you make this yourself? I think he did. This episode is brought to you by Miller High Life, the champagne of beers. If you need a 12-pack to take a shower, shout out to Justin. There's no better beer than Miller High Life, and I know Justin would prove that message. It's got all the taste you could ask for out of a shitty beer. Gets you drunk, and great for showering, great for chilling. It's a great anything beer, really. Even if you just need a beer
for showering.
Yeah, man. When me and Justin lived together, this man would drink like a 12-pack of Miller High Lifes in the shower. But yeah, I got your big board up here. So did you make this all by yourself?
Yeah, I did.
Oh wow, that's impressive. That looked like
I actually last year, and I used it as like the playoffs started, but now I'm trying to use it for just predictions.
So did you just print out all these like stickers or for like?
No, I got them off Amazon. I got all 32 teams. That's why the Jets one's the only one that's like old. I wanted to get a new one.
Yeah, honestly, our old logo is better.
Better. Yeah.
Yeah, the old logo kicks the shit out of the new logo.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. As I'm wearing a shirt with the new logo.
But I printed like everything else at work, like the Super Bowl statue, the AFC divisional wild card shit.
Nice. Yeah, no, I'm impressed by this. So
seen this? I thought I sent this to you last year.
You might have. I don't really remember. So we got our way too early predictions. So it looks like in this scenario, the Dolphins are going to be the number 1 seed. Yes. Kansas City, the number 2 seed, will face the Bengals as the number 7 seed. And then the Jets are the 6th seed, playing the AFC North champs and the Baltimore Ravens. And then Jacksonville and Buffalo in the wild card game.
Yes. So I picked Dolphins because I feel like they're going to beat KC.
I think they might beat them too.
I think their weapons are way too good, and I feel like they'll end up having the best record. Easily.
Probably.
I think they figured everything out, and they have everything clicking. The only thing is like Tua staying healthy, and I mean he has for like 6 weeks now.
Yeah. What are you talking about, man? If he gets hurt, then Mike White will come in, and the offense will be even better.
It don't even matter.
Be an upgrade.
Mm-hmm. So KC, honestly, I don't even think they're that good as they're showing they are. Because 1, I know Kelsey's hurt. 2, the refs are pretty much helping him with every fucking game. And I think they just want him to win, but I don't think they'd be able to get past Miami. Ravens are weird. It's kind of tricky. 1, they're 4-2, and I think they'll end up winning the division. But I think this was like the hardest one for me to decide because the Browns' defense is really good.
Yeah, they have the best defense in the league.
I think they're at least like in the top
for now. At least I think the Jets will end up with the best
team for now. And I think like they always find ways to win just because of their coaching. And like it's not that they're bad. because they played Tennessee last weekend. Tennessee sucks, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, they're a
It
fraudulent organization.
Steelers, I don't see happening just because of
Kenny Pickett sucks.
Kenny Pickett sucks, and I knew that coming in when he got drafted.
Yeah.
And Deshaun Watson, I don't know what the deal with him is.
Keep going. I got to piss.
Like, okay. So I have the Ravens and at 3, which I guess that would be the third most winningest team in the AFC. Then I have Jacksonville Jaguars at 4. So Jacksonville Jaguars, they're also 4-2. And I feel like they could have a competition with Houston. Because Houston looks good, even though CJ Stroud is a rookie. He looks good to me in games. And the Houston Texans in general look good to me in games.
Houston's already got a win against Jacksonville as well.
Yeah, they do. And I think that maybe one more year they could win the division because he looks very promising. And I liked him better than Bryce Young. We can go back in the podcast and look it up. I always said I liked CJ Stroud more than Bryce Young. And this might be the only Ohio State quarterback that I liked.
That actually ends up being good.
It actually ends up being good in the NFL. And I mean, he's showed strides, and it's faster than I.
Rest in peace, Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah, R.I.P. Dwayne Haskins. Buffalo's going to do what they do. Obviously, they're not going to get. They could.
I have Jacksonville winning that game. By the way, if they play each other again.
Wait,
yeah, I'm saying for your bracket here, if
you have Jacksonville beating Buffalo.
If that's a playoff game, Jacksonville's going to win.
I was back and forth with the Jets and Buffalo because we already have a win on Buffalo.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think we'll beat Baltimore if we play them in the playoffs.
Really? Because I think this is the best matchup.
Do you? I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just like a historical thing, but I feel like Baltimore always gives us a lot of trouble. I guess
I think our defense matches up with their defense and our offense. The only thing is, you know what? Our defense is going to have an issue with Lamar Jackson.
I mean, John Harbaugh's also kind of a dumbass and makes very questionable decisions in game. But I also think like experience in the playoffs is definitely like a factor too, and I feel like that matters. And with it being like our first time being in the playoffs in like a million years, and with the Ravens pretty much being regulars in the playoffs, I feel like that could. I don't know. I just feel like that might not be a game we win. I mean, if we have Aaron Rodgers, then that might be a different story.
Right. Oh yeah, that's a different story. Easy. So all right, we'll go to the NFC side for now. I just want to give a briefing right now. Top seed San Francisco. I don't see why anyone question it. It could be
even after the loss to the Browns, they're still the best team in the league.
Yeah, I mean the Eagles to me, they're not playing the same as they were last year. And if you want me to be completely honest, I don't think they're going to make it to the Super Bowl. They lost a lot of pieces on defense, and Jalen Hurts looked like he was struggling with the Jets defense. But is that a good thing or a bad thing? I think, honestly, it feels like it's a good thing for us. But
yeah, I mean, Jalen Hurts kind of struggled against the Patriots too.
Yeah, and in Washington. So I felt right putting the Eagles at 2 because I actually I was at gunpoint with my woman, and the Cowboys can go to 2. So I had to put the Eagles at 2.
That could cause some problems.
I had the Lions at 3. The Lions, I think they're beasts, and I think they might make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a Lions 49ers NFC Championship game.
Yes, so do I. That's what it's looking like to me. Seahawks and Bucks, I think they just end up getting lucky. And then the Rams, like the NFC really sucks.
Right.
And
the NFC is kind of better than the AFC right now, though, because everyone kind of expected the AFC to be great going into the year.
But the AFC was supposed to be loaded, and it's pretty much the same teams. Besides, because from last year, I think all I had was the Chargers. That was different from the Jets.
Yeah,
but the Bengals might not even make it in because they look like they really suck. And
I think just like last year, I think that the Bengals are gonna hit their stride as the season goes along.
Yeah, which is what they did last year.
Yeah, I think the same thing's gonna happen with them this year.
That's why I have them at 7. And I think they're going to do better than the Browns, but the Browns' defense is so good.
I honestly think we might be the 7th seed and the Bengals might be the 6th seed. Yeah. I think that
I had that consideration.
That would be like a big revenge game for us.
Yeah, it would. It would be. So Lions over Seahawks, easy. I don't think Geno Smith is beating the Lions at all. And then the Cowboys are going to just destroy the Bucks because I think the Bucks just make it in just because their division sucks. And to me, it'd be between the Saints and the Bucks. There's no one else in there. The Panthers are 0-6, and the who is it? They're 1-5.
Yeah.
There is no way. There is no way in hell they're making the playoffs, or even in the hunt.
Yeah, the Panthers, no, there's no way.
The Rams will just get in because.
Yeah, the Rams will just get in because somebody has to.
Yeah, and then Cooper comes back, so they might win a few games.
Yeah, the Rams might actually be I think the Rams could actually be if the Rams do get in, I think they could be kind of a frisky team in the playoffs. Because if they get in the 7th seed, I don't think it's out of the question for them to beat the Eagles. I'm not saying they would beat the Eagles in that matchup, but I don't think they have no shot. I think they have some shot to beat the Eagles.
Well, you know what?
And then if they do beat the Eagles and they play the Niners, that's a division opponent, and I think they could match up with the Niners. Don't sleep on the Rams if they do get in, is all I'm gonna say.
Right, because honestly, I think Matt Stafford's a better quarterback, but if they do get frisky as of late in the season, I think they can play the Lions.
Yeah, I could see it. So what's your Super Bowl prediction, or what's your end game?
My Super Bowl, what I want or what I think will happen?
Let's do both.
Okay. I'll do what I think will happen first. I think it's gonna be. Oof, damn, this is tough.
By the way, Miami will lose. Miami may get the top seed in the first round bye, but they will lose that game. And I think the 23-year playoff game winless streak will continue for the Miami Dolphins. I think they're going to do all this in the regular season, and they're going to shit their pants in the playoffs.
Yeah, because they usually start out strong and then end up fucking up.
At least that's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, I think whoever ends up playing.
I'll give you my answer next week when we don't have much to talk about.
All right. Yeah. Let that marinate for a week. I might make a board or a prediction board myself for way too early predictions. But
that's why I keep looking over here.
Yeah. Looking at your masterpiece, your artful masterpiece.
Oh man, they should pick this up and sell it.
For real. Well, I think we pretty much discussed all there is to discuss. I can't really think of much else as far as Jets or football stuff. Should we do the picks and end the show?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's get into it though. Our Week 7 picks for the NFL season. We'll start with Thursday night football. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars going into the Big Easy to play the New Orleans Saints. I believe the Saints are favored to win this game. It's a very close line as far as the gambling goes. I think the point spread is only 1 or 1.5. But I'm going to take the Jaguars to go into New Orleans and win outright. I think they're a better team. I think they have more talent, and I think they're a better coach team than the Saints.
Yeah, so do I. I'm taking the Jags as well. I think the Jags are looking up. Trevor Lawrence, he was struggling a bit. They had 2 London games in a row, and I feel like they just needed to get back to the U.S. to really just.
Well, London, I think, is London is kind of like Jacksonville's bread and butter.
It's like a Jags hometown-esque.
Yeah, and most of the players on that team are familiar with the program as far as playing there.
But overall, I don't know. Derek Carr throws a lot of picks. I saw Jameis Winston on the sideline. He's like, "Oh yeah," it looked like he was saying to Alvin Kamara, "If I threw those picks, they would be talking shit about me."
Yeah, he probably was talking. He was probably saying that.
And yeah, I feel like the Jags have a more proficient team than the Saints do. The Saints defense is good, but it's not living up to the standard. I feel like
the only thing the Saints really have going for them in this game is the fact that they're the home team, and I don't think that even matters that much because it's not like Jacksonville's that far away.
Yeah, it's right there, and I think it'll be a close game too.
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty close. I think the spread is kind of accurate for it. But yeah, I would take the Jags to win. Moving on to the next game, we have the Washington Football Commanders at the New York Football Giants. The Commanders are currently 2-point favorites on the road. But I think the Giants will actually win this game. No matter how bad the Giants are, they always seem to beat the Commanders.
I was going to say I'm taking Giants to cover.
So you think the Giants lose, but lose only by 1 point?
I think they cover the spread, but I think they win too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because if they cover the spread but lose, that really only means that they could lose by 1.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the Giants will win this game. I think, the Commanders. They're not a terrible team, but I don't know. It seems like no matter what, the Giants will always find a way to beat them at least once, no matter how bad they are. So I just have a feeling the Giants will win. I'm hoping the Giants win so that they're not feeling so inclined to try to beat us the following week. Although they really should just be on the tank for Caleb Williams train. So we're both taking the Giants there. Let's go Lions, Ravens. The Ravens are 3-point favorites at home in this one. I'm going to go with the Lions, though. I think the Lions are for real. The Ravens are a good team, but I don't know. I think the Lions are a much better team, and they're just on such a roll right now. Really, if you take the sample of the last 16 regular season games, dating back to last year, I don't think there's a better team over the past 16 regular season games or 17 games than the Lions. So,
the Lions are legit. I'm picking the Lions too.
Yeah, and that could be helpful down the road as the playoff race continues to develop for us.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm picking.
And then we
will win.
And then we have another game with potential Jets playoff wild card race implications. After that, we have the Steelers at the Rams. Steelers coming off their bye week. I believe the Rams are 3-point favorites at home. I'm going to pick the Rams to win. I don't know if the Rams will cover, but I do think the Rams will beat the Steelers.
I am picking the Rams too. I don't see Pittsburgh beating them in LA, even though LA has no fans.
Yeah, there will probably be more Steelers fans than Rams fans there.
But I think the Rams have. I mean, Pittsburgh's defense is actually really good, but I don't think they've lived up to the hype as much as they should have.
They haven't, and their run defense in particular is not very good.
Yeah,
but also Kyron Williams, I think, is likely not going to play. It seems like he might be too injured to play that game.
Oh, okay.
So that could make things interesting. Also, the Steelers are like a weird team. They always seem to play either up or down to their competition.
Something about the Steelers feels off to me. I like the Browns more than the Steelers. If there was like a wild card come up in the AFC North, I'm taking the Rams over Pitt. I like the Rams. Shit, I feel like we might just agree off the whole board.
Yeah, we might agree on the whole board. Let's see. We got Dolphins, Eagles next. I am taking the Eagles. I was thinking about taking the Dolphins in this game, actually. I was thinking maybe the Eagles would like free fall a little bit after after losing to us, maybe like getting a little exposed and gates open for some more losses. However, the Eagles are bringing back their Kelly Green jerseys for this game, and I just don't see any way that the Eagles lose in that in those uniforms. Thank God they were not wearing them last week. Although it would have been sick if the Eagles wore their Kelly Greens and we wore our 80s throwbacks.
Our 80s with the white jersey. Oh, shit.
Yeah, the white legacy throwbacks.
Man, I'm picking the Eagles, too. I think they want to come back there at home. Dolphins. I mean, Dolphins got spanked by the Bills. So, I mean, I don't know what it is. Like, it's so fucking hard to predict football. It's like weird. Every fucking week is different. Like this team beat this team, but this team also beat this team, and they lost to that team. Well,
every week is so different and random.
It's like every year. But I'm picking the Eagles, and I'm sticking to it. That's my story.
And we're both going to pick the 49ers. I'm pretty positive. So let's try to find one game that maybe we could disagree on here. Let's throw in just for shits and giggles. Let's throw in the Falcons and Buccaneers here, just because that game's somewhat interesting and somewhat unpredictable. But you got the Falcons at Tampa. Falcons are 3-3. Buccaneers are 3-2. I think I'll pick the Buccaneers to win this game because they're at home. Desmond Ridder is bad. Baker Mayfield actually looks kind of good. And I don't know. I feel like the Bucs, and the Bucs are coming off a bye too. So I think the Bucs will win.
I like Falcons' weapons a lot.
Yeah, and Bijan.
Man, Bijan's so good.
Yeah, he's sick.
I don't want to. All right, pick another game. because I like the Bucks too.
Okay. How about?
My worst
I don't know if there's.
the Falcons.
Yeah, I don't know if there's actually a single game. I don't know if there's actually a single game on this slate that we might disagree with, but I'll try. Let's try. What about Browns Colts?
Oh, man, I'm picking the Browns.
God damn it, I'm picking the Browns too.
Wait, wait. Gardner Minshew is playing quarterback, right?
Yeah,
Ooh.
I believe so. Yeah, because AR-15's out for the year. I think he is done.
Yeah. You know what? I kind of like the Colts against the Browns.
All right. I will pick the. I'll pick the Browns, and you'll pick the Colts. So we have one. That'll be our one tiebreaker game for this week.
Okay. Is it at Browns?
It is at Indianapolis.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so they have that going for them too. And yeah, that'll do it for picks, and that'll do it for us this week. This has been episode 79 of All Gas No Break. We are riding high into the bye week on a 2-game winning streak with a season outlook changing type of win. You got to enjoy. You got to enjoy these wins, especially when you beat a team like the Eagles. Especially to beat the Eagles for the first time in your franchise history, and to do it at this stage at this stage when the Eagles are looking like that they could go back to the Super Bowl, and the Jets are looking like things might fall apart without Aaron Rodgers to come in and beat them, and to beat them the way they did with on the heels of their defense and causing Jalen Hurts to look like Mickey Mouse out there. You gotta love it. Gotta love it. So, hopefully this is a good timing for the bye week. Jets have a lot of injuries and a lot of people that could be coming back. And, hopefully it's also a good opportunity for them to find ways to, upgrade their roster and, improve, and incorporate some more players into their roster that can, help their offense and get better. And, go on a run this second half or whatever of the season and really make a run at ending this playoff drought. So thank you for listening, and we will talk to you next week for our game against the New York Giants. Peace.
What a game to come back to.
Right?